I am Thoth, the ever-seeing, the hand that remembers. Before gods rose I was. After stars fall I remain. I do not shape the tale, I etch it into the bones of time. From the first word to the final silence I bear witness. So listen well, seeker of truths, for this is not the beginning. It is the recalling. The sun did not rise so much as it crept, peeking through the bones of shattered buildings and trees that remembered too much. The world X lived in was not clean, but it was his. And today, like most days, he began it as a chimpanzee. Not for survival, not for stealth, but because he liked the way his hands curled, the way the wind danced through fur, the balance between human and not. He leapt from a rooftop made of corrugated rust, landing with a thud that startled a few crows. One shouted him in a voice that didn't sound quite like a crow's anymore. X hissed back, language enough. He foraged, not for fruit or water, those were too rare. Today's prize was simpler, an unopened can of peaches wedged into a burnt-out vending machine. He phased his arm just long enough to slip through the metal, re-solidifying around the can like it was always his. He grinned. A child's grin, wide, toothy, with more joy than the world had left room for. A dog barked in the distance, too many barks. X paused, shifted. From chimp to crow, crow to cat, cat to smoke. He drifted over the alley, reforming high above. Below, a pack of wild canines, all wearing collars that blinked red, half machine, all hunger. He dropped a chunk of rusted pipe behind them, scattering the pack like sparks. Then he laughed, not because it was safe, but because it was fun. By midday, he returned to the place he called home, a hollow tree growing through the top floor of a fallen museum. The walls still held the faces of creatures long gone. One of them looked like him once, before the virus, before the change. He touched the glass, then shape-shifted into the figure on the plaque. An early hominid, it read. He puffed out his chest, paraded around in knuckle-dragging majesty, then dissolved into a giggling puddle of fur. This was X's kingdom. Not much, but his. He spent the evening watching the sky shift from gold to gray. Clouds moved like oil, a memory of the fog, not here yet, but close enough to make the birds restless. He sat in silence, then whispered to himself in a voice not quite his own. Tomorrow, we climb. The tree didn't creak when they arrived. It stopped creaking. The wind paused. The birds vanished. Even the ruined sky seemed to hold its breath. X was already awake. He hadn't closed both eyes. He never did anymore. They smelled like him at first. But under the fur and heat, there was something else. Blood too loud, breathing too slow. He didn't move, just shifted, barely, his fur thinning, arms lengthening, body still curled like a sleeping chimp. He listened. The first one climbed quiet, almost too quiet for something that size. Its knuckles didn't scrape, its breath didn't fog, but its eyes, glowing red like coal held in a dying hand. It stared at X for a long time, not sniffing, not snarling, studying. X opened one eye, then without warning, bit the can of peaches. The juice dripped loud in the silence. The creature hissed, high-pitched, almost human, and that's when the others dropped from the rooftops. 3, 4, 5. All muscle, all bone, all teeth sharpened not by nature but by purpose. One spoke, "Little one, you don't belong to them. Come. We are the true inheritance, the jungle reborn." X blinked slowly, then tilted his head like a curious dog. The largest stepped forward, towering, armored in thick black fur, twisted with chain. "They shaped us wrong," it growled, "but we fixed it." The virus was a gift. The creature opened its mouth, too wide, too long. A second row of fangs slid forward, glistening with the shine of many meals. X didn't speak. He never did with things that wanted him to join. Instead, he stood, straightened, shifted slowly into something in between them and him. A hybrid form, long-limbed, razor-knuckled, skin like cracked onyx, but eyes glowing soft blue. They didn't recognize it, and that's what made them pause. X leapt, not away, through. He twisted midair, form dissolving into strands of mist, reshaping behind the lead gorilla. A claw, a screech, a streak of violet blood. The battle was brief, not because X overpowered them, but because he never stayed one thing long enough to be caught. A bird, a serpent, a spiked blur of metal and ash, and finally, a small chimpanzee with a stick sharpened to a whisper-thin point, piercing the leader's heart from behind. The others fled. One hissed as it escaped. "We'll come back. You'll hunger like us, soon enough." X didn't chase. He sat where they bled, looked at the bruised moon rising through smoke-colored clouds, then, quietly, returned to his peaches. There is no glory in survival, I wrote that night, but there is memory. And X remembers everything.